Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Saturday, July 2nd, and this is the MLB DFS video for today. So in today's video, we'll be taking a quick look back at yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out. Talking about my core picks for today, it is a 9-game main slate, starting a little bit earlier today. And then after that, going over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talking about my top GPP stacks for the FanDuel main slate as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with the recap of yesterday's picks. At the pitcher position, we had Corbin Burnes. He was $10,900. Got to 40 points yesterday. I did give him a hit. He was right on the borderline of hit and push there, because 40 points is pretty much like the minimum that we wanted out of him. And he ended up being about like the 7th pitcher overall in yesterday's slate. So it wasn't a bad play by any means, but definitely was some guys that did finish ahead of him yesterday. Then at second base, we had Brendan Rodgers, $3,200. Got to 3 points, so he was a push. Not anybody that completely killed us, but not anybody that helped us by any means yesterday. Third base, we had Josh Rojas at $2,700. Very good play there at 24.4 points, so he was hitting the third overall third baseman yesterday. Shortstop had Tim Anderson, $3,200. Some decent history versus Alex Cobb. Alex Cobb apparently pitched well yesterday, or the White Sox just couldn't hit the ball. That game ended up being 1-0, so kind of unfortunate there. And Tim Anderson had no hits, which is something that's pretty rare for him, honestly. And then last but not least, we had Dalton Varsho at $2,800. Got to 6.5 points, so he was a push. So kind of a hit or miss day overall. It was a pretty high scoring slate overall. The main line that I played personally had about 143 points. Cash line, most of the contest I was in, about 147, 148. So just kind of unfortunate day all around. But with that being said, it's MLB DFS. You get to come back at it the very next day. And with that being said, we'll take a look at some core picks for today. So at the pitcher position today, we have George Kirby at $8,500. Trying to spend down a little bit today. Obviously, pitching against the Oakland A's is typically a good thing. He pitched well against them the last time that he had faced them. So do not have a problem going to George Kirby once again today. Then we moved down to first base with Rhys Hoskins here, $3,300, averaging just over 10.5 fantasy points per game on the season, but hitting the ball very, very well as of late. Goes against the St. Louis Cardinals and Matthew Liberatore. He's never faced him in his career before. Hoskins is typically a guy that hits left-handed pitching very well, so that could be a favorable matchup for him today. Then at second base, we have Colton Wong. Recently came back from the IL, but doing pretty well since then. $2,900, reasonable price tag there, averaging over 9 fantasy points per game on the season. And he's 2 for 5 with 1 home run versus Bryce Wilson, who is the starter for the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Then at third base, we have Alex Bregman, $3,000, averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game on the season. Started to heat up once again as of late. He has had a couple games as of late that have been a little bit more down once again, but I'm not too concerned about them. Goes against Los Angeles Angels and Patrick Sandoval. He's 2 for 5 with 1 home run versus him in his career, so definitely offers a lot of upside today. Then last but not least, in the outfield, we have Kyle Tucker, $3,600, averaging just under 12 fantasy points per game on the season. Another guy that's hit Patrick Sandoval pretty well throughout his career, 4 for 6 with 2 home runs versus him, so definitely a ton of upside there. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed, you got $13,700 remaining, just over $3,400 per player, so definitely some opportunities to pay up if that's something you want to do. Some decent pay down options today. Abraham Toro is probably going to be one of my favorites at $2,200, has eligibility at second and third base, and hitting the ball pretty well as of late. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced build, that's definitely viable as well today on this 9-game slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my article over at WeBetATS.com and talk about my top GPP stacks for today. So the ones that I do have for today, obviously the Houston Astros versus Patrick Sandoval. Already talked about 2 of these hitters in my core plays. A lot of these hitters have pretty good history versus him as well. If Chas McCormick ends up starting, he has very good history versus Patrick Sandoval as well at $2,200. Then we have the Seattle Mariners going against Paul Blackburn. A lot of these guys have hit him pretty well in the past. Blackburn, oddly enough, pitched better on the road this season, and this game is in Seattle, so we'll see if that plays a factor or not, but still have some interest in these Mariners hitters overall. Then, oddly enough, the Detroit Tigers are a team that have hit Brady Singer very, very well throughout their respective careers for the Detroit Tigers hitters and for Brady Singer. So I have a little bit of interest in them today, probably stacked that not a lot of people are playing. And then last but not least, the Milwaukee Brewers going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's probably going to be a pretty popular stack since the Brewers laid it on the Pirates yesterday, but a lot of these players do have pretty good history versus Bryce Wilson as well. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP stacks for today, July 2nd. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on today's slate, whether it's someone from my core 5 picks, whether it's someone from my top GPP stacks, or whether it's a completely different player you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you had to say. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Primarily MLB at this point in time, but once we get back around to the NFL and NBA regular seasons, we'll be covering those two sports as well. And then with that being said, if you are new or current subscribers yet to do so, also be sure to hit the notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily MLB DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.